皆さんこんにちは。今日は少しラフな動画です。私のドイツ語学習について話していこうと思います。ぜひ日本語とドイツ語に興味のある方は最後まで見ていってください。It's been about 2 years since I said I was going to learn German, but to be honest, there were quite a few days when I didn't keep up with it. If I'm making excuses, I would say I was focusing a bit more on other subjects. I ended up prioritizing YouTube over language learning. Recently though, I've been spending more time in the library doing some research, and that's made me feel like I really do want to take German more seriously again. So from now on, I think you'll be seeing a few more videos about me learning German. If I manage to get a comfortable level with German, I think the next language will be either Chinese or Spanish. Seeing all the textbooks in the library made me feel motivated again. Normally, when I study languages, I prefer to learn by ear, using things like YouTube or podcasts for both input and output. But today I came across a German textbook written in Japanese, so I thought I would do a bit of a review, what I've learned, what I found difficult, and how I remember vocabulary and so on. Actually, I've received a few lovely messages on Instagram. For example, I'm German and I'm learning Japanese, could you teach me? I'm a French speaker who knows German and I'm currently studying Japanese. So today I would like to talk about the differences between Japanese and German, some tricky parts and some interesting expressions I personally really like, and the study techniques I personally using. So if you're into language learning, especially Japanese and German, I hope you like this video. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Megumi. I was born and raised in Okinawa, Japan. When I was 20, I studied abroad in South Korea for about a year, and that's when my passion for language learning really began. Currently, I'm working on my fourth language, German. And as always, I put timestamps down below, so feel free to skip around the video if you feel like it. Let's get started. Here's how I'm currently studying German. It's simply quicker and gives me full understanding. Then for any unfamiliar words, I use Google Translate or ChatGPT to look them up in English, not Japanese. Why English? Because German and English share far more vocabulary. If I translate from German to Japanese, I end up overthinking, wondering why this word's too much. But using English makes it much easier at my beginner level. One thing I never skip is listening. You can only get so far with reading alone, so I make sure to study both through the eyes and ears. I also write down the IPA pronunciation symbols. Just listening once isn't enough. I'll forget it 10 minutes later. But by writing down the IPA and comparing it as I listen, I can memorize it more reliably. I learned to use IPA when I was studying English, and it's still really helpful. Because I make the lists myself, I feel more connected to them and more motivated to review them. I use my computer so I can easily copy and paste IPA symbols or color codes the words I'm focusing on. Sometimes when a word just won't stick, I switch it up, like writing it by hand in a notebook, or using mini flashcards so I can carry it with me. I make sure to listen to real German. For comprehensible input, animations are great because they reuse basic words and phrases again and again. I usually search on Netflix and YouTube or other platforms for shows with useful repetition. So those are the methods I'm doing at the moment. Some of them I've talked about in past videos, but others are new. There's no one correct method, of course, but I really think the most important thing is to find a way you can actually stick with long term. Once I finish the book I'm reading now, I'll probably move to a different method. But two things I always focus on: combining sound and written input. So there's no gap between what I hear and what I see. Watching native speakers using German in real life context. The more I do those, the more I feel myself improving. I'm hoping to try speaking in German for real in a few months. Here's some of the things I've found difficult about learning German from textbooks. Some symbols really surprised me, like compared to English, the range of sounds in German feels much broader, so pronunciation does take time to get used to. German has a habit of sticking multiple words together into one long compound word. In English, you would usually put a space between them, but German doesn't. I'm not sure why. If anyone knows, I would love to hear it. I suppose I could write them separately just for memorization, but I would prefer to input the language the way native speakers use it. That said, German's still quite close to English in many ways, so overall I'm enjoying it and don't find it overwhelming. One thing I've found really interesting is how some German words sound quite close to Japanese katakana. ドイツ Deutschland コンサート Konzert ジョギング Jogging. Finding these little overlaps is quite fun, and in some cases, German pronunciation even feels closer to Japanese than English does. If you know any other fun word similarities between Japanese and German, please share them in the comments down below. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're interested in more about Japanese and Korean, you can check my other channels over here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.